This year, Oregon celebrated the 50th birthday of one of its most beloved residents. On April 14, 1962, the face of the Oregon Zoo was born, Packy the pachyderm. Packy is no ordinary elephant. He has inspired breakthroughs in science and captured the attention of thousands of people. His story is one of both the zoo and the Portland community. But none of this would have been possible without two very important men, Matthew Mayberry and Morgan Berry.
Morgan Berry was probably one of the most interesting men I've ever met in my entire life. He wanted to be an importer of animals. He went to Asia and he brought home a 2-month-old elephant baby by the name of Belle. When she was too big for the house, because she never messed and she never destroyed a thing, and he said, contrary to my kids that tore the house apart, my baby elephant never destroyed anything. But by this time he'd also gone back to Asia and looked for what he called, I wanted a breeding male elephant, because I wanted to be able to have reproduction. And he found Tonglaw, and he brought the 3 elephants to Portland, where he met Matthew. I had the privilege of being married to Dr. Matthew Mayberry for, as of yesterday, would have been 37 years, so a little over 36 years. And he died on January 26, 2012 of this year.
Matthew Mayberry, better known as Doc, was the head veterinarian for the Oregon Zoo. He also had 7,000 clients across the Northwest. He was known for his unconditional love for all animals, especially elephants. Dedicated to his work, he was a practicing vet from 1937 to 2012. He was the doctor who attended Packy's birth. Most importantly, he was the first person to take detailed notes of the Asian elephant breeding cycle. For this reason, the Oregon Zoo became the pioneer in elephant breeding, and Matthew became a veterinarian legend.
At one point, he quietly said to Matthew he thought that Belle was pregnant. So they spent the next, what ended up to be 22 months, waiting for this baby to be born, and by the time they broke it to the press, she was pretty far along.
Starting in January 1962, Packy's mother, Belle, began her unpredictable false labors. These were indicators of a larger issue, Belle and the baby's health. The problem was that no one had ever documented an elephant's birth before. Matthew and the zoo were entering unknown territory. Matthew spent countless nights sleeping on the hay in the elephant barn so he could be there when Belle went into labor. It wasn't until 4 months later that Belle finally gave birth to Portland's favorite elephant. He was the first surviving calf born in the Western Hemisphere since 1918. But why was this one baby so important?
The 60s, if you go back and look at the history, it was not a happy time in America. The politics was very, very intense, much like it is today. And so there were not a lot of happy things to report. The fact that the zoo is going to have this little baby excited people in a positive way.
Those folks that were here when Packy was born, that's a life thing for them. They always remember it. They always talk about it. If I see somebody, they'll tell me, I remember when Packy was born, I was up there. I've just always been overwhelmed about the community support and the community's love for the elephants here.
Right from the start, this active baby boy proved to be the public's favorite elephant. His personality was boundless. His trunk was shorter than his tail, neither of which he could control. Packy, like any child, would follow his mother, but at times Belle would hold Packy's tail to keep him from running off. This little baby grew from a measly 250 pounds to a whopping 14,000 pounds and has become quite the celebrity.
Packy is a very regal animal. He holds his head up high, kind of throws his shoulders back, and he surveys the land. He's lived here his entire life, so he knows this building better than the new staff. We'll have people come in and start to work with Packy, and they'll give him, ask him for a certain behavior, but they'll use the wrong word, or they'll open the wrong door when he knows where he needs to walk, and he'll literally stop and just look at them and let them catch their mistake. And then they'll say the right thing and he'll move on. So he actually helps train the staff in a way because he knows this place so well, and he doesn't like pirate noises. Doesn't let you, yeah. We had Captain Boggs and Salty, a pirate band, out here a couple times, and the staff heard the songs and we're talking arr, arr, and then, yeah, he showed us he didn't like that. So whenever we talk pirate, we talk really low.
In 2008, Portland voters passed a bond measure for over $100 million. The bond was dubbed the Packy Bond, and it gives Packy and his family more space and provides money for a 220-acre elephant sanctuary.
The new habitat's greater than 6 acres, so it's a four-fold size increase over what our current exhibit and accompanying amenities have. But it's really about elephant choice. Instead of us dictating what the animals do throughout a day, it's providing choices to the elephants about what they want to do during a day.
Moving forward into the new exhibit, of course, there'll be far less concrete. There'll be fewer obstructions to how they hear infrasound. So in the original facility, we had indoor heating and cooling systems, which really competed with how they could communicate. We had solid concrete throughout, so they really couldn't communicate very well at all. We're being very mindful of that with the new facilities. But I think the best part of it is that designing a facility to where they can be with one another, they can choose to be inside, they can choose to be outside. I think being mindful of the number of choices that we can provide them, that they can make in a day about what their day is going to be like, I think is a product of what we've learned over time. I know we'll still be able to do better, and I know we'll continue to try to do better. Sometimes we get so demonized by the animal rights community, and I know so many people who take care of elephants, and they're just like me. They have that same passion, and they know that there's more that we can do, and they want to do more, and they want to learn more, and they want to make things better, but yet they're not really looked at that way. Somehow the popular media doesn't really capture how these people, and the people who take care of the elephants, really sacrifice and give all they can to make the elephant's life better every single day. That really means a lot to me,
We would not have been fortunate enough to experience this wonderful animal and his story without the help of some extraordinary people. Thanks to the zoo volunteers, the new elephant exhibit, and the love from the Portland community, Packy will live out the rest of his life in comfort and peace.
Packy, the baby elephant, the darling of the zoo. Bells blessed in Bentley history, it's true. Oh, what a doll he is, Packy, the baby elephant, has charm beyond compare. With his pint-sized trunk and gout of fuzzy hair. Small eyes, a hide that's baggy like a wrinkled overcoat. Belle has to spank him away from the mold. They had to pat his Packy, the baby elephant, his Portland pride and joy.